speed. Good afternoon, everyone. We are blessed to be here on Office Hours episode 684 or so. That's a lot of people and a lot of great ideas. And I am constantly trying to surround myself with the right people and the right ideas. That's why I hang out with the incredible Blaine Bartlett. That's the double B at Blaine Bartlett, my mentor and a dear friend who I'll get to spend time with this weekend. Probably the highlight of my year so far. I've been all over the world, but it's the people, not the places for me. And if I get to hang out with Cynthia Kersey and Blaine Bartlett, I will absolutely be in heaven. So Blaine, I can't wait to see you on Saturday, but thank you for joining me on Thursday.
No, my pleasure. I'm looking forward. I've been looking at the menu.
That's what Julie said. So yeah. Like I said, it's not the places, it's not the food, it's the people. And there's no better people on earth, if you know Blaine Bartlett and Cynthia Kersey, that I'd rather be with. Speaking about really good people, we have some really good people joining us today. Scott's going to be the first one up here, and he deals with something that you and I deal with all the time, the monetization and materialization of intention. And that would be the manifestation specialist at Prosperity Magnet and the energetics mentorship program that he puts on. He is a magnet himself. He can be found on all platforms, but especially the school platform. Scott Haug, join us here on Office Hours. How are you?
Hey, David. Great. How are you?
I am fantastic. We all have something in common, and that is Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
We are all blessed to have had Bob touch us in different ways throughout our lives and has such an impact, and now is the chairman of Napoleon Hill Institute. Being able to carry forward a lot of his legacy as far as Napoleon Hill went, and Nightingale and a few of his other cohorts in manifestation. But Bob absolutely is a great influence and one of the best friends of Blaine. They had the closest, I think. Was Bob in your wedding, or were you and Bob?
No, I was in Bob. No, Bob was in my wedding.
Yeah, I figured he was married a long time. Well, but the one unique thing about Bob Proctor that a lot of people, especially when he started, is that most of the people that talked about manifestation did not equate it to prosperity. And understanding, they would resist or reject the idea that we could manifest some sort of prosperity in our lives, that somehow it wasn't humble or it wasn't abundant to actually try to manifest prosperity into our lives. I was wondering, as a certified Bob Proctor person and an expert in this process of prosperity manifestation or attraction, how you resolved the spirituality and abundance with prosperity.
Yeah, that's a hard one, because I think, like you're saying, much of our society is this lackful, or thinking that money has something to do with something outside of ourselves. And it was quite a journey for me. That working under Bob was obviously the pivotal moment to changing the paradigm, changing the programming around money. But what really hit home was going back to my childhood trauma around, what did I hear my parents, my grandparents, when we walked around or drove around rich neighborhoods, what did they say? And what did I associate back then with lack or abundance? And that was really the path for me that changed the whole game, because I could see, hey, I'm associating lack with good and associating bad with abundance, almost like it was a threat. And I had to really recalibrate that nervous system, which was quite the path.
Yeah. That's an interesting take on that. The idea that, when we look at the law of cause and effect, and Bob and I had some very interesting conversations around this, then the law of cause and effect is in operation all the time. And where we kind of landed in one of our conversation was consciousness is cause, manifestation is effect. And if you just kind of look at it through that lens, everything that is manifesting in my world today is a function of the consciousness. All there is consciousness. And in the work that you do with your prosperity magnet, in the coaching that you've done with the clients, where does, I mean, in my vocabulary here, this whole notion of consciousness is everything. How do you actually land that in a way that people kind of go, well, you're not from Southern California, so maybe there's some credibility to what you're saying?
Yeah, I think that's a number one block I see my clients go through is believing in this invisible side and believing in consciousness, because you can't see it. We live going day to day doing all these actions. So one process that grounded this for me and the clients was 5 steps that I take everyone through. And what you do is you set your intention in the present tense. You visualize it only for 30 seconds, actually, something small. Step 3 is you feel it natural. 4, you let it go. And 5, you actually afterwards find evidence of the invisible forces around you. So you're training your mind to see, well, the Wi-Fi is working, but I can't see it. My phone, I might be able to call somebody where I'm in New York over in Seattle and be able to, well, I can't see those wires, right? So if you can find 10 pieces of evidence of invisible things happening, but you can't see it, your consciousness already starts to be trained. Look at all these other things that are going on. Of course, my mind's going to be doing something as well.
Yeah.
It's a little trick, it starts to change the processing. So.
Yeah.
And we kind of finish up that circle that's infinite. The idea of faith comes to mind for me because you were talking about evidence, and I break down activities, whether they're circumstantial, meaning circumstances will have an impact on the activities that I choose to do, or they won't. And so I call them either non-negotiable behaviors, where circumstances are irrelevant, or I call them negotiable behaviors, where the circumstances are precisely relevant and cause me to prioritize those in the context of all activity and the judgments and meanings that we give to these activities. Lies evidence. And one of the difficulties that human beings during the human experience have in the evidentiary side of the human experience is that our behaviors aren't always aligned with the evidence that appears. And so then we put doubt and fear because there's no evidence that I'm manifesting what I desire. There's no evidence that I'm going to get to where I want to be or better. Or even worse, a lot of the time, evidence is contrary to our human reason of, man, not only is there no evidence I'm going to get to where I want to be or better, but no evidence that I'm manifesting what I want, but it's contrary. It's contrary to what I want. I know Bob had a unique perspective in conversations that we had and Blaine and I had about the idea of a customized, personalized faith, that the evidence that appears either not there or contrary to what we want to do in manifestation is itself, just like circumstances, irrelevant in the manifestation process. What perspective do you have when evidence is not there or evidence is contrary to where you want to be in the manifestation practice that you teach?
I think the approach that I have with this is make the goal something you can control rather than what you can't. Because if I'm constantly trying to see outside things moving in the direction of my goal, like you're saying, sometimes I'm not going to see it. And there's going to be challenges that come because we're going to be evolving and growing. So what if I could put my focus on, okay, I have my goal and have my intention, but today my objective is I'm going to feel according to my goal. That's my objective, not trying to move towards it and trying to control the variables and the people saying yes in my business or the money sources coming in. If I would feel, hey, I'm at $100,000 a month, I'd feel excited, I'd feel good about me. My focus is, how can I feel that way right now? What does that look like? How can I start to feel whole with something higher? So that ultimately develops the faith because you're focused on my relationship with a higher source, getting my feelings from here and allowing all these things, whether it's towards the direction of my goal or not, to start coming in, and I'm not losing so much faith. So it's a change, I believe, in focus, at least how I approach it. I think that
I like
helps
that.
sometimes.
I like that. And focus precedes intention. So where the focus goes, the energy flows, and the intention as well is a directive to where we want to be or better. Scott, promise us you'll come back. We always whet the appetite here on office hours. It's a trick of ours. So we tease you. I know both Blaine and I have other shows in other places that we'd love to see you and be with you. Everybody, if you're interested in living in abundance, if you think you want to live in prosperity and attract that into your life, you can see at school, our boy Hermosi's school, SKOOL.com, Scott Haug official /about. Thank you for joining us, and we'll look forward to being prosperous together.
Yeah.
Appreciate you both. Thanks.
You bet. Let's stay connected, Scott.
Absolutely.
In the name of Bob Proctor, let's stay connected.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, we have a couple of my boys in the house right now.
A couple of your boys. Hey, ha.
They are absolutely incredible human beings with a unique value proposition here. Let's bring on my friends and business partners, himself, Joe Rubini, and Mr.Minty, Steve Morse. They're my partners in the Razzall of Razzalls. Welcome to Office Hours.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon.
Hey, guys.
Hey, you guys are living proof that grass doesn't grow on a busy street. And I appreciate you both being here. You guys look good. So the raffles have been around forever. And, you know, there's a lot of different things in sports, collectibles and raffles and chance and a variety of things going on. And when I came across with my friend, the expert himself, Mr.Minty, who brings the best out of all collectibles in consulting and giving value to things that are perceived, I ran across with Mr.Minty over there, Stevie boy. I said, what do you think about this idea? You know, they've taken the raffle to the next level, and we could do really well and also do good because it has this emotional side to giving that I've never seen before in sports and sports collectibles. And so we teamed up with the master of Razzall, Joe Rubini, who hopefully he'll use the Super Bowl, not Taylor Swift, because that's old. But we'll use we'll use the Super Bowl as an example. If we're going to do a razz, if we're going to utilize Razzall for the Super Bowl, what does that look like, Mr. Rubini?
Well, first of all, it depends if my Chiefs go because it could be a Taylor Swift Super Bowl.
The connection's bad. I think you just said the Chiefs. That's wrong.
Hello.
I've been a fan way before Taylor.
If the Chiefs go again, nobody wants to see the Chiefs.
Honestly, I'd be happy if the Bills actually went. I'm content. I saw a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Not something a lot of other people can say in this room. Anyways, so Razzall was something that we that came to us through social content and whatnot that we were able to find on social media. We realized that there was an opportunity to be able to bring something mainstream in the way of razzing and Razzall, which is big in the memorabilia space, which Steve is an expert in. So what we ended up doing was making it mainstream and bringing other consumer goods and commercial items as well as tickets per se. So right now, as an example, and every year we've done it for the last 5 years, we've sent 2 very fortunate people to the Super Bowl in whichever city it's being played in for a nominal amount of money. It's the cost of a spot, we like to call it, or a share. Essentially what Razzall does is we, in our Super Bowl Razz, we've got a limited amount of spots. Everybody puts in, you guys are in the States, we're Canadian, $40 a spot. Canadian is what we're doing. Nowadays, that's like $5 for you guys. So yeah, we've got $40 a spot, gets you 2 tickets to the big game, gets you a $4,000 Canadian travel credit. That's like $10 for you guys. So it gets you a $4,000 travel credit. You know, you pick the airline, you pick the hotel, you get down to the game if your spot gets chosen. Honestly, we've done so much.
And I add some Super Bowl festivities to it, including Friday at 1 p.m. They're going to be launching the Dave Meltzer More Than Enough sandwich. It's a no po' boy. So it's for only people that believe in abundance. So we're launching 120 Ike's Loves and Sandwiches. We're going to be launching the sandwich at the Super Bowl, and we're going to have some celebrities there as well. And it's going to be a really big deal beyond the Lee Steinberg party, beyond all the other parties. I think Marshall Falk told me that he'll give a couple tickets to the culinary event as well. Players Impact told me they would as well. Even if you want a golf spot on Thursday, I got two $5,000 seats in the golf tournament that we're going to add in there for the Razz. So I haven't even been able to tell Joe.
Look at you dropping all these surprises on me.
Surprise! Dave Meltzer, he's not going to hold back when it comes to helping people. But explain real quick before Blaine asks his question. Explain the emotional side, because I've done these Razzes. I've helped out with Taylor Swift. I've helped out with the Super Bowl. And every time the video makes me cry.
David, if you, well, let's go to yours. The family of four. That little girl, they flew from Syracuse, New York, all the way to California to watch Taylor Swift and David Sweet. And the little girl, the entire family, 4 people, were ecstatic. The phone calls that I was able to make to the 88 people that we sent to Taylor Swift over her concerts in Toronto and one in California per se, the sheer ecstaticness, or whatever the right word would be, like they're just ecstatic to hear a mother, tears on a phone, like, I can't believe it. This would have never happened. I couldn't find seats. You know, people who got ripped off for seats, spending thousands of dollars and then not having seats come to fruition. The whole Razzall concept is that community-based giving. So look, at the end of the day, you're going to put in some money. You may or may not get chosen. However, there is always limited amount of spots. You know what you're getting into. One person's dream becomes a reality. And when you get to watch our footage after the, you know, listening to the call that I make or any of the videos or whatnot, you have to feel good about the fact that as much as you weren't chosen, which sucks, but you did something for someone else. It's amazing. And that feeling is great. And I've got dozens of recordings of me calling people, even something small, like saying Toronto is a very expensive hockey market, but even something small to tell someone that they're going to go to a Toronto Maple Leaf game in the lower bowl that has never, ever, ever in their lives been able to afford being able to go, and they picked up tickets for $5, is like all the gratitude. You know, that's all I need. I don't need anything else outside of that.
And there's bosses that buy 10, 20 spots, and then their employee wins. They give it as a bonus. There's a bunch of them. Blaine, I know we piqued your curiosity. It's one of the coolest companies I've invested in. It's one of the
I'm just fascinated.
I hang out with, and to have the expertise of Mr.Minty there, who will hopefully share the expertise of how it's relative. But I'm curious, what's piquing your curiosity?
Well, this whole crowdsourced process. I mean, the idea of generosity, and you're kind of speaking to that, I think, Joe, in one sense here. Yeah, there's a ripple effect. Generosity, the generosity effect, and everything that I'm doing any longer is organized around being a center of distribution, not a center of accumulation. And if you look at being a center of distribution, this model is, I mean, it's just crazy. This is, how do you make, and going back to our first guest here, the abundance. I mean, the way that you create an abundant lifestyle is to actually move into abundance consciousness. Now, whether I get picked or not, that's not the point. I'm contributing to an abundance. I'm contributing to something through generosity, and there's a reciprocity that comes in. So I may not get picked this time. I may get picked next time. So I've got to admit, I'd never even heard the term razz until you two showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a friend named Mike Razz, but I didn't think it was going to be the same thing.
Okay. It's a very niche market.
Really very niche market.
Steve, why don't you were shaking your head.
Explain it a little bit, Steve. What's the notion? What Razz? Where did that come from? First of all, but secondly, how does this actually work?
Steve, give us the emotional comment.
Really came into popular culture in the past 5 years. It really grew on like Facebook and Instagram as a way to like raffle off sports memorabilia and sports cards and other items of value live online, and what Joe's done is make it really cool, really secure. He uses a platform that's completely secure to do all the raffles, to select the winners, and somebody like myself can go see the Commanders in the Super Bowl for $40 Canadian. It's amazing.
$5 for us here in the U.S.
Yeah, exactly. So just to clarify, though, because I know this is a common misconception with regards to terminology, is winning and raffle and all of that stuff. Razzall is our back-end process. What we've done is we developed the whole thing called a crowd purchase. So essentially, everybody owns a share in an item. So once they all own that collectively, they agree through our terms and conditions that we're going to draw straws and see who's going to make use of that item indefinitely. Everyone else has kind of gifted it to them, their share in the item, so that they can make use of it forever. In this case, let's talk, Super Bowl. David talked about a business owner who actually was a friend of mine, who is a friend of mine as well. And David has actually spoken to this group, the Profound Group out of upstate New York. And he bought 5 spots. He got all his employees to pick a spot. Can you imagine? He was chosen. He sent one of his employees. When I called him to say, Nick, you're going to the Super Bowl, he says, no, I'm not. I said, what do you mean? He says, I actually bought it for my staff. I'm sending one of my employees. He felt great about it. And it's an amazing thing.
It is. And think about just the idea as, whether it be crowdfunding, crowd purchasing, blockchain, in understanding abundance. And I love the fact that, look, we're all, and Blaine and I, we're blessed to work with the Unstoppable Foundation. And Blaine talks about this in our book behind him, Compassionate Capitalism, a philosophy called the merry-go-round. And it's very similar to Razzall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Where, right, everybody puts $1 in, let's say, from a tribe, a community, and $1 equals about a 1-day pay. So everyone puts in 1-day pay for the month, and then it creates a windfall for someone within the community that can buy a cow or buy a bricklaying machine, and then that person provides milk to the whole community, and then that other person builds bricks for the people to build houses. And this became the most affluent tribe in this group of this merry-go-round. And the Razzall does the exact same thing. Everybody says, you know what, this could be a lot of fun, but more importantly, we get to invest in goodness. We get to invest in this shared experience. And what I love about content is that, maybe in the old days, you couldn't have done this anyway without technology, but to be able to share with everyone how much it meant to the people that did get to go, that were, pick the straw from the share that you bought, is worth more than the $40 American, let alone a $40 Canadian. So, and I know the same thing, and I'm going to finish up real quick. We got to bring our next guest on, and these guys are going to be on more of our shows, Blaine. But Steve, just real quick, because we talked about a lot of events, you're the master of collectibles, verifying and improving collectibles, cleaning them up and consulting to people. I trusted you in this investment that we are making because you do consult with the biggest and the best, and we know the names of those companies. But for you, how does it apply to sports collectibles as well?
Yeah, really, some of the earliest razzes were in sports cards on Facebook, maybe like 5-6 years ago. So when I saw Joe just really scaling this and making it widely available to everybody and with such abundance and just offering such cool prizes like Super Bowl and Taylor Swift, I just knew this was a really cool company that I wanted to be a part of.
And I wanted to be a part of it with both of you. Joe, I'm going to give you the honors. How many spots do we have for Super Bowl?
675. How many do we have left? Let me just check how many we got left.
And it's $40 Canadian, right?
Yes, it's $40 Canadian, gets you a $4,000 travel credit. We can issue that via Expedia or whatever your preferred choice is. And that will be done the minute this Razz ends. The minute the Razz ends, it's 675 spots. We only just listed it within the last week. A lot of people are still trying to jockey to see who's going to be in the bowl, whether they want to be there or not, although I'd want to be there regardless. But we got 612 spots left at $40.
It's going to be awesome. And like I
And
said,
you can select more than one.
One more
more than
spot.
one
You can buy
spot,
spots for your employees, your family, your community, your charity, and you can definitely gift them away your spot, which is beautiful. And I will tell you, I'm adding as much fun
gift too.
Yeah, it's a great gift. I'm adding as much as I can to it with the connections I have, and I do really want to be able, especially on Friday at 1 o'clock, to honor the winner at Ike's Love and Sandwiches as I'm being honored. Better than the Variety Magazine Sports Humanitarian of the Year, better than the honor that I got from the Unstoppable Foundation. I am now going to actually have a no po' boy sandwich named after me, the Meltzer More Than Enough sandwich. Can you ask for anything better than that? I thought I wanted to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but now I have a sandwich named after me at the Super Bowl. This is going to be awesome. Gentlemen, where can they go? I know the QR code is for my book there. Where can they go, Joe, to get their spots?
Go to razzall.com, Razzall. You can type in the big game, or you can type in the one that we're not allowed to say, Super Space Bowl, and that should automatically bring it up. But you can browse through the entire website. There's all kinds of stuff on there, from other tickets to commercial items, electronics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Good for US and Canada. We don't do anywhere else. But yeah, head over to razzall.com, and never forget, it's not a raffle, it's a razzle.
It's not a raffle, it's a razzle. Everybody, let's razz together with my best buddies here. We got Mr. Minty himself, Steve Morris, and my partner, Joe Rubini, in Razzall. We're going to be razzling all kinds of stuff all year long. No better way to start the year than to go to the Super Bowl for just $40 Canadian. That's amazing. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Steve. I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Congrats on the sandwich.
Yeah, you better be there, baby. You're invited. You better.
Is it called the Not Po' Boy, or is it?
Oh
called
no! I think they're going to call it the Meltzer More Than Enough sandwich, and I'm creating my own category called the No Po' Boy sandwiches. So everyone that's abundant in my life, I'm going to create sandwiches for. We're going to call them the No Po' Boys.
No Po' Boys.
Do you know what's on the sandwich?
Yeah, more than enough prime rib, more than enough onions and peppers, more than enough cheese, and more than enough bread.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Nice. Enjoy.
Yeah.
I'll see you there on the Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, guys.
Cool. Bye, guys. Take care.
Right.
See you guys later.
Thank you. All right, Blaine Bartlett. We doubled up on one. We had great guests. What is your takeaway of the day?
Well, I've got to land on abundance here. I mean, truly, more than enough. Yeah, it's and you've talked about this. Yeah, not enough, just enough, more than enough. If you can operate from a mindset of more than enough, which is what all three of our guests actually organized around today, your life works really well. And it's a mindset. It really is a mindset. You don't need evidence out there to say, yes, it is. No, you just start here and then set it up. And the dance does occur when you're working from that point of view.
Yeah, mine's intertwined into the rules, the laws of manifestation, and the abundant philosophy of more than enough. And it's an idea that we're given more. And so when there's no evidence, or the evidence is contrary to what we desire, what we think, and where we think we're supposed to be or better, that we have to seek through gratitude and forgiveness all that we're given. And I know recently in my own life, there's been a lot of things that are not evidentiary to where I want to be or better, especially in my own personal life with friends and family. But I've been able to utilize the wisdom from people like Blaine Bartlett and the faith in something bigger than me, an abundant, omniscient, all-powerful, infinite system of intention that I have been able to find, although the evidence is completely contrary to where I believe in these people, especially my mom, that I want to be, that I've been given.
Yeah.
And that's all the guests today just reminded me. And every time I see Blaine Bartlett is a reminder of all that I'm given. And I can't wait to give more, be given more, receive more, and ask for more than more with Blaine Bartlett this weekend. God bless you, Blaine Bartlett, and thank you most of all. It's been a pleasure for all these years, and I can't wait till we do what we do next. At Blaine Bartlett, if you want the best mentor in the world, Bob Proctor, he taught somebody how to do what he does, and it's Blaine Bartlett, and he keeps on doing it, moving possibilities into reality. That's my friend, Blaine Bartlett. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, my friend.
Bless you. All right, everyone. Not only do you want to go to Razzall.com, but we got a lot going on. I can't believe Grant Cardone, of all people, asked to use Meltzer Studios to make his big announcement. I think he's going to run for governor of California. Find out Saturday. Swing by Meltzer Studios, the Dorothy House. Come on by. We'd love to have you. And the big announcement, we're going to have a big party for Grant there and his big announcement. Thursday, we got another big announcement. We're releasing Go Fund Yourself on Cheddar. We got a mastermind, a TV show release, and of course, a VIP dinner experience, Tim's story, many others. Then we're off to Charlotte, North Carolina, the Spire Business Tour. Ed Milet, me, Dave Goggins, Eddie Wilson, Andy, Tony, Tommy, Timmy, and too much. I don't remember everybody that's going to be there, but it's the biggest names in business. All are going to be there in Charlotte with us. Then off to New Orleans, and we're going to launch the More Than Enough Meltzer Sandwich, the No Po' Boy, Friday at 1 o'clock. We'll be on Radio Row with Sirius XM. We will be at the Players Impact, me and Mike Tannenbaum speaking, Marshall Falk and his culinary delights, the golf tournaments, Lee Steinberg's party, whatever you want to do. Join us at the Super Bowl, but especially Friday at 1 o'clock at Ike's Love and Sandwiches, and then back to Orange County for another VIP experience, a mastermind. We got lots to do. We got over 200 cities we're going to be in this year. If you want to find out, text me 949-298-2905. And if you want anything, a book, a guide, an exercise to join us on a show, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Remember, most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. God bless everybody.